Yo, ah. So, Kazai, you already know who it is. I'm gonna be reviewing Queer 2024 with Daniel Craig, Luca. The director was Luca Guadagnino. Luca Guadagnino. The screenwriter was Justin Kurtzky. He adapted a screenplay from the 1985 novella of the same name by William S. Burroughs. This marks Kurtzky's second collaboration with director Luca Guadagnino in 2024. Following his work with the film Challengers, which was with Zendaya and the other two British guys. I mean, it's an experimental movie with a fun ending, is what I wrote in my notes. But I think the cinematography by, there's some long names out here. Sayambu Makudipram. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. Sayambu Mukadipram. I think he's Indian. But yeah, so the whole thing was filmed in Rome, and the set designer was Stefano Biasis. Yeah, I thought it was good. I like Daniel Craig, so I checked it out, and it was A24, and A24 they don't miss. But I don't know. When I started watching it, I was like, this movie's not that interesting, blah, blah, blah. And I tried to watch it a few times before, because it just didn't seem that interesting. I don't know, so it's, HBO had another show, it was kind of the same vibe, where it's just like a period piece, but it's like a dramedy, but not really a dramedy, more just like a retrospective kind of documentary style with the spy. It was what's the guy's name? Robert Downey Jr. HBO movie. Oh, The Sympathizers, yes. And I'm pretty sure I did a review on The Sympathizers. That was really good. But it was just kind of just like so Sympathizer was a guy just like half French, half Vietnamese, and it was like this like low-key spy thing during that time period where he was working for, I think it was Vietnam or some communist government, and he was secretly there, and he was just kind of a day in his life kind of thing. But it was more like film, more documentary style about his like day-to-day goings on. I feel like this is more, again, but I felt that the TV show, The Sympathizers, was more of a journey of the characters and how everything was functioning. And then I think this is also very similar in its vibe, where it was more about a journey of the characters, about Daniel Craig's character, and I guess the younger guy he's with, basically. I don't know, and I think it's well done. It's like that age relationship is weirdo, bro. It's sus, and I don't know, It's just weird. It's just not I don't know. Like age gap relationships are not good, in the most part, in my opinion. Basically, like my one friend said, like if there's like a 10-year age gap, it's fine, but anything over that is weird because it's just such a divide and like how you grew up, your lifestyle, how you view the world, and things like that. And honestly, just your interest and what you have in common, basically. Not to say that you can't have a relationship with somebody older. It's just like there's like this time of you being alive, and it's your era, and it's the people around you, and there are millions and millions, on top of billions of people in the world, and so like it's like they're playing fish in the sea, but also you're choosing to go older, and it just kind of like, I don't know, it's not illegal, but it just feels like there's definitely a power imbalance, and there's definitely just a disconnect, and the cultural and just the living everyday life connection, which is always a thing. It's always going to be a thing, and talked about or whatever. And I feel like the movie Queer 2024 does a good job of just like not addressing it at all, but also making it a big deal throughout the film. And I just thought it's a very intelligent movie that won me over probably in the third act, where I was like, all right, this is an amateur hour. This is legitimately like, I don't know, meaningful, and it's representation to a community in a certain time period. And it's just something I've seen multiple times with, like, even now, just over the years, and even now in 2026 in America, superpower. It's just, there's a lot of people who struggle with their identity and like just character issues that you think are kind of simple, but it's just deeper to certain individuals than others, and it's just a journey some lose, basically, you know. And this is a journey about is both the characters, kind of both the main love interest kind of characters, trying to figure out what the heck's going on with their lives and who they are, and just like a cool, like, not vignette, but just a cool showing of the queer scene for the queer gay guys, basically, in that 1950s time periods, where they're all kind of just very comfortable with each other, but everyone's saving face or whatever it is, and everyone's like used to pretending and used to being who they are at the clubs and the bars and things like that. So it's such an interesting dynamic, you know, that the movie just talks about without saying anything. It doesn't hit you over the head. It's not too complicated or annoying. It's something that just has a lot of nuance and a lot of grace in this film, which is very surprising for a movie that didn't start out too hot in the first and second act. Shout out Daniel Craig, because he's the best. He's one of my favorite actors. Probably, I don't know, all the actors are favorite actors, but I really like him in James Bond. But again, he just has a lot of good views. You know, he's not like homophobic. He just did this movie, but he's not homophobic. He's not hateful of the world. And he's someone who's like, yeah, generational wealth, I'm not doing that. It's a bad thing, you know? Which also, it aligns with my views also. But I think it's just very, like, I don't know. It's good to have people who understand how to tell a story. And that's what you have to do as an actor. You have to tell a story. And I think there's so much such a bunch of people in Hollywood who are, like, super fake and just, like, kind of, like, proclaim a lot of things, but then they, like, do the exact opposite, and then they partner with brands who do the exact opposite, where it's nice to have a top-tier actor, an A-lister, who actually, like, practices what they preach, but also somebody who is willing to take challenging roles and unique roles and have range, you know? And that's something Daniel Craig has always been good at, is having range. And obviously, every A-lister is good at range. But I don't know. I think I would say Robert Downey Jr. and Daniel Craig and Scarlett Johansson. They're like more the not old era, but like more like the 40s-year-old people who still have like a lot of range, and just who challenge things, and they keep trying to make films that aren't just like the same cookie cutter things, or like you're only doing things that feel lush, or like you're only things that are dark, or you're only doing things that are action movies or dramas. You know, shout out like Adam Sandler, who makes a lot of good movies, comedies. He's only done a few dramas, but you kind of know what you're getting with Adam Sandler. If Will Smith makes a movie, you kind of know what you're getting with Will Smith. Dwayne Johnson, you kind of know what you're getting with The Rock. There's just like, I don't know, to me, there should be some sort of fight in you, some sort of interest to like just do different roles and challenge yourself, kind of, because it's art and you want to, you know, be creative, you know, and not always cookie cutter. But I understand people are comfortable with their own genres and things like that. But I'm giving some brownie points to Daniel Craig because I don't know. I feel he's good in this movie, and I've been talking about more about like, but I just think the movie was really good. I just think like the ending was more about like, just kind of just like that numbness of reality, and then them everybody coming to realization, and then when they're in the woods or the jungle with the lady and all these things like that. I just think it's especially that third act. It's just a beautiful discovery of the self, and it applies for everything, not just queer individuals. And I thought that like ending part really stole me away, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna do a review of this movie because I thought it had that magic. That makes the movies worth it to me, and I say this all the time. It's not about how the movie begin. It's something from pro wrestling. It's that I learned from my coach. Basically, it's like it's how you finish. The finish is so. If the finish is good, you're gonna remember it. You can have a bad match, basically, but if you end the match good, then people are gonna remember it. And I feel like that's kind of just always my view when it comes to movies in a very similar way. That like if you finish strong, people are gonna remember it. And at the end of the day, like. Everybody wants that happy ending. Everybody wants that, even if it's a movie where it doesn't have a happy ending. Everybody wants that, like, just conclusion, you know? Everyone wants, like, all right, this is definitive. Even if it's a movie that ends with ambiguity, basically, with a little bit of mystique and just a little bit of something, you know? Like, I feel like if there's a strong, like, definitive ending in whatever direction the director wants to do, I feel like it's lasting. And if it's a good ending and people think that the story is capped off, it's told well, then I think that's good, you know? But you can have a bad first act, the second act, you know, but, you know, you can bring it all together in the end. And that's probably one of the most important for me, basically. Because it's what happens, you know. It's movies and art is a reflection of reality, and if reality is just like not good or just like everyone thinks it's cheap, you know, then you're not gonna remember it and you're not gonna care, and it makes the whole journey kind of come to a poopy conclusion, basically. But I think this movie ended well. Which is I really like. I think the pacing was good. I think it was a simmer, but it did keep it moving a little bit, and I like when it keeps it moving. And yeah, the cinematography was stupendous by Samabu. Say I had the how do you say it earlier, but it's Seyamubu Mukadimpram. Seyamubu Mukadipram. Okay, so I said it. But yeah, I don't know. Cinematography was good. Screenwriting was good. Challengers was a good movie. The directing was solid, you know, but I really think it was just about the screenwriting. I really think it was about Daniel Craig just, you know, showing his acting chops and just, I don't know. I just think there's a lot of artisticness in this movie that a lot of movies don't have. And it really went into the artistic aspect without too much visual or special effects. Because I think the Everything Everywhere at Once was very artistic, but it was like a lot of visuals to match that. Whereas I think this movie was more about an artisticness, but more about the smoke and the aroma of our artisticness. And again, I like experimental music. I like most music, but I like experimental music. And I really like how this movie just had not a formula, not a rhythm that was steady. It just had its uniqueness, and it sold very well. And I just think it was a good movie that was like not supposed to be this lasting movie you're gonna remember forever, but it ended up kind of being that, you know. So yeah. Anyways, and also Daniel Craig is a boss. So yeah. So Queer 2024, A24, they don't miss. But go check it out.